One thing that's been interesting is the advantage that Canada is getting from everything we're doing, and including now H-1Bs. This comes from the BBC. H-1B visa changes may give Canada an opportunity. Well, let's seize it. As President Donald Trump hikes the fee for a popular skilled worker visa program in the U.S., lawyers and business experts are urging Canada to seize the moment and open its doors. But some caution that those looking north as an alternative may find that Canada's immigration system has its own challenges. The call to attract and retain talented workers left behind by the Trump administration's changes to H-1B visas is one that Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney appears to be paying attention to. In a Monday speech before the Council on Foreign Relations in New York City, he highlighted that Canada's homegrown research in AI talent, before noting that unfortunately most of them go to the U.S. I understand you're changing your visa policy, he added. Maybe we can hang on to one or two of them. Trump's announcement late last week will charge $100,000 for new H-1B applications. And this has stunned tech companies, which are supposed to be his friends. That's one thing that's interesting about everything that's been happening is there's this like constant battle between the Steve Bannon, Steve Miller types and all the tech bros, right? And right in the middle of all that seems to be J.D. Vance trying to balance everything. But it'll be interesting to see if that bubbles over in some other ways. This includes Canadians who made up 1% of total H-1B applicants in 2019, according to U.S. data. The White House said current H-1B holders in the U.S. won't be affected, and the move is likely to face legal challenges, but the changes, which took effect on Sunday, are expected to limit opportunities for highly educated foreigners seeking work in the country. Experts say the hardest hit will be recent international graduates of U.S. universities who had hoped to stay and work long term. So now they're not only going to they're going to use our education and they're going to take that education elsewhere instead of using it here. With those workers now looking elsewhere, Canada-based immigration lawyer Evan Green said this is a wonderful opportunity for the Canadian government to take advantage of. He is not the only one calling on Canada to pay attention. Build Canada, a nonprofit focused on growing the country's productivity, released a memo on Monday urging Canada to move fast, arguing that it is like a likely landing spot for workers left behind by H-1B changes. Quote, hundreds of thousands of highly skilled and highly paid H-1B professionals are now seeking a new home. Again, I'm just getting started here, so if you wouldn't mind tapping the screen so we can get this thing going. Canada, with its world-class research institutions, similar time zones, proximity to the U.S., and high quality of life, is a natural destination. A 2020 study conducted for the National Bureau of Economic Research suggested that when faced with policy restricting immigration for skilled workers, U.S.-based multinational companies have looked elsewhere to retain talent, often to India, China, and Canada. The study, authored by researchers at the University of Pennsylvania, examined the 2004 H-1B restrictions that cut the visa cap by 70%. It found that firms hired the same skilled immigrants they had originally wanted in the U.S., but in Canada instead. At the time, Canada's more open immigration policies made it easy to move workers there, the study stated. There's also evidence that H-1B visa holders have been eyeing Canada as an alternative. In 2023, the Canadian government introduced a program for U.S.-based H-1B holders to obtain a 3-year work permit in Canada. Applications closed within 24 hours after 10,000 people signed up. It's unclear how many of them ended up relocating to Canada, but Mark Holth, a Calgary-based lawyer, said some of his clients did move north after failing to get their H-1B visas renewed. These individuals didn't have another alternative, Mr. Holt told the BBC. He noted, however, that many in Canada are now having trouble obtaining permanent residency, making their future status in the country uncertain. So they can definitely take advantage of this, but they do need some adjustments. There's a potential for Canada for sure, but I think we shouldn't overstate what that potential is. This is a professor from University of Waterloo in Ontario. He noted that Canada has scaled back immigration in recent years, and a political fight is brewing over its temporary foreign worker program, so they may have the same fight coming that we have right now. The Conservative opposition has called for it to be scrapped, arguing the focus should instead be on hiring Canadians. The program is designed to bring in workers to fill gaps in industries and tends to attract low-skilled workers and workers in seasonal industries. Canada does not look much more predictable than the U.S., and that's a problem if you're trying to attract talent. I have to think that they're going to jump on that quickly, though.